Mr. Morrison,
I'll get round to everybody. We've got plenty of time.
why did you deceive the Australian public and your Treasurer and Finance Minister about this?
Well, I don't share that view. I didn't inform them. Had I been in the situation, Andrew, where those powers had to be used, then I believe that was the time to have that conversation, because that's when the powers would be enacted.
All right.
The powers were established
Greg
as an
Hunt.
emergency power. The powers that were later established, there were 5 portfolios. The latter ones, as I indicated in my statement yesterday, I think in hindsight proved to be unnecessary.
But Mr. Morrison, you told Greg Hunt, and the book says, you said it wasn't, I wasn't being sworn in as Health Minister. The book, and I presume you spoke to the authors of the book about this, am I right in assuming that, says you swore, I trust you, but I'm swearing myself in as Health Minister.
Well, that meant I was swearing myself to have authorities under the portfolio. As I've made very clear, and as the then Minister for Health will tell you, did I exercise any powers in that portfolio under that? No, I didn't. He continued to be the Health Minister. This was the first of these things that we first addressed, and it arose because of the rather unusual nature of the biosecurity powers, which were unprecedented in Australia. No, let me finish the answer to the question. What we did was, in that particular instance, we were dealing with extra powers, new powers that were enlivened under the Biosecurity Act. And in talking with Greg and how we would manage that new set of powers, then we'd had that discussion. My honest recollection was that there'd been a communication between officers in relation to the Minister for Finance. That didn't take place. I accept that, and I've apologised to then Minister Cormann for that. But equally, that also related to additional spending powers that were delegated to the Finance Minister at that time.
And
the later ones were added in May 21 as the pandemic was continuing, because in all the portfolios that I sought to have these authorities put in place, they were portfolio areas where ministers could exercise unilateral decisions without reference to Cabinet. So that is a very different thing from portfolios where the decisions Minister makes are implementing the decisions of Cabinet. Now, we were in a rather extreme situation over a protracted period of time. Those safeguards were put in place for precautionary, for prudent and responsible reasons, and I didn't consider it at the time, given everything else that was going on and the other priorities we were dealing with, that it was a matter that needed to be raised at that point, because if I needed to use the powers, then I would have disclosed them with the Minister in particular. Come here. I'll keep going around.